My name is Michael Karam. Cambridge State, we're going to help these Cambridge people because obviously Cambridge people need all the help they can get. And they're going to be having their first date. Okay? Action!
Is anyone sitting here?
No, sit right down. Oh. What's your name, by the way?
Sarah.
Sarah, I'm Alex.
Nice to
Pleasure
meet
to meet you for the first time.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. What do you do you go to this coffee shop often?
No, on occasion. I'm not a big fan of coffee shops in general. They're alright, but it depends on the type.
Don't ask him about coffee shops. He obviously doesn't go to coffee shops. Come on, Sarah.
And loud if you can, John, next time through your mask.
That was very critical.
Yeah.
How would she know that? We're meeting for the first time.
I didn't talk to you, Alex.
Yeah. Stay in. I'm Alex, I'm going to stay in Rome. I know it's hard for me, but I'm not going to comment on whatever other people are doing. It's
I
going to be
agree.
a challenge.
No, I won't say anything no matter how moronic it is.
No!
All right. Anyway, let me get into it. So
Yeah.
she asked the question, I'm going to answer the question.
Yes, stay,
Anyway,
stay in Rome.
Well, I come to this coffee shop because I like the selection of books
nice.
on the bookcase. And is that a book that you got from this Cambridge coffee shop?
No, actually, this is a book that came out recently. It's by Whitney Webb, and it's all about. It's the second volume. I've already read the first. Then it's about Jeffrey Epstein and his history in terms of intelligence networks, especially with sexual blackmail, human trafficking, things of this variety, and things at the surface that seem just somewhat more basic crime, but have links to the CIA, Mossad, etc., dating back to probably at least prior around the First World War. Yeah.
You're doing great. You're really yourself, and you're offering her a lot to respond to.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
Me too. I know we were complimenting.
Well, actually, something like that I think would give me nightmares, but it's something that I really want to know more about. I mean, I think you see someone like Epstein, he looks like a normal enough guy.
You're giving him a lot of good material to go off on a date. Nice job. Just in the book, it's not your style, but he knows a lot. Keep it going.
But what's one of the, I guess, freakiest or one thing that you've learned that you just never would have expected?
Well, in the previous book, just because I just
Yeah.
started this one, although they are kind of one and the same, but the publisher had them split. In terms of the author's commentary, that she didn't necessarily want to have them split, is the fact that I did not know that there was potential that both Roy Cohn, the big New York lawyer, eventually died of AIDS, Trump's friend, but then left him in the end, and he was big in the McCarthy hearings, was when he first got well known. Him and the former head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, they potentially had parties at a hotel together where there were gay men, there was sex, and they were both blackmailed by the mob, but they also learned those techniques. A lot of the techniques were originally designed by the mafia. They both learned those techniques to get blackmail on other people. And they were friendly with each other, so they were both doing things they could be blackmailed for, and they were both blackmailing all these people in return, and grew out a wider network, and that was how the tactics were somewhat built up.
It sounds like
existed previously. Yeah.
And you seem to be doing great because I hope you were watching her bodily response to your long speech. It seemed that she was totally interested.
It was
though
not a
you were
long
saying
speech.
a lot of words.
Thank you. That reminds me of a standard Cambridge date that I go on. I find out the person's deceptive, but then they've been deceived, and it's sort of this boomerang effect. And
Do you tend to find that there's a lot of deception on the dates that you go on?
I would say Cambridge dates I've gone on 100% deception.
Why is that so?
I think there's a lot.
It took a great switch from your interest to hers, and with genuine curiosity.
I think emotional intelligence is not something that's taught at MIT or Harvard. And it really could be, put yourself in someone else's shoes. You may one day make a lot of money and not be accountable for a whole lot. So what do? You take the money and then, you know, it becomes trouble.
Good call. Money does not necessarily give you happiness. You must have a good life as well. Well known by Sarah.
Okay. Do you meet a lot of spectrum-y folks that are from MIT or Harvard, and they only think about themselves or something like that,
Yes.
and not that there's a world outside themselves?
Beautiful listening, and just you added nothing, but you just repeated back in a heartful way that you heard what she was saying.
Mhm.
You're going to be irresistible.
Well, if that was true. Anyway, are they also deceptive in terms of economics? In terms of putting on airs, like anyone may, but in terms of the amount of money they make, or their professional successes, which many people do in a first date anyway, just to
Yeah.
get someone
No,
interested.
I actually have found that they've been all very successful.
Uh-huh.
But they're not, they struggle maybe with drugs, alcohol, or womanizing.
Oh, okay.
And they
Why are any of those a problem?
Whoa! You're very
So-
much yourself. You're doing great, and humor is coming in very subtly.
Well, it helps that I'm meeting this person for the first time.
I'm gonna say, it gets really boring. Someone's issues get really, someone's neediness for so much attention, so much drama, gets very boring. At first I'm like, I'm riding the drama wave, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, this person's just really boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anybody like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know nobody I've ever met or in this room or no, I don't know anybody who would be like that. Okay, yeah. So what would you prefer to have in someone that you would be seeking or dating or showing some
Humility.
interest in? Okay.
Humility and
Well, I don't know if we should be on the date if that's your
I know.
prerogative.
Whoa! You're
we
being
just
honest.
met.
You're
Yeah.
being beautifully honest and
Yeah.
funny. See how she responds. Watch her
Good
body
job,
language.
Sarah. Good job. I have to interrupt you. Good job, Sarah. You're letting what you support in a human being out there, and you're making it real for him.
And you're doing the same. You're being very real.
Well, and thank you for acting more human than many people out here in the Cambridge area or Boston area. Or lost in their own thoughts.
Mhm.
That's refreshing.
I feel there's a connection beginning to be made between you now. I can feel it in the air.
Well, my male friend said, women always read books about serial killers and like psycho thrillers.
Yeah.
And men, the stereotypical men, reads books or watches movies on sci-fi.
Mhm.
So when I see a man reading a book on like serial killing, organized crime, I think it's really interesting because I don't really connect with the sci-fi world so much. I kind of want to get it's a protective thing. I want to get in the heads of everyone, and when people make comments like, "Oh, I could get anyone to propose to me with 5 magic words," I'm like, "All right, good to know. That's crazy." But sometimes things aren't as transparent. Crazy, I have found crazy is not always transparent. There's a lot of workaholics, people doing great research, working on cures, but then there's another part of their brain that's questionably serial killer-ish.
Okay. Well, what kind of crazy would you like? Because rather than going away from the crazy, let's go into it and what could you tolerate in terms of, or be engaged with in terms of a certain level of crazy some of the time. So it sounds like womanizing, alcoholism, or drug addiction is out. I don't know if there was one other one. I do remember there were 3, but maybe 2 of those were lumped in already.
Yeah, I guess those were.
And good pausing.
Yeah.
You come up with these interesting questions, and you give them a lot of space.
Thank you. It helped. Thank you. I appreciate. I know we're the only 2 people, but in that mental advice, I appreciate it. and it helps to be a bit sociopathic on the state figuring these things out. So it is in terms of strategizing.
Well, and I've heard to piggyback on that, your internal thoughts. If you, as long as you continue to work on your inner voice and give yourself good pats on the back, great job, you know, oh, I like how you were engaged, that helps bring up your confidence.
Awesome, you're talking right there. I can see you're healthy.
This is my inner voice right now.
You're bringing that healthy energy to the table. You know, not to talk about these corrupt human beings and these boring guys you gotta date. Now let's bring the health into it.
I would say for crazy for me, someone health conscious, but not too over the top with like veganism and all that. Someone who, you know, maybe like, you know, shop secondhand clothes. He's not gonna like shy away from like a leather belt, you know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say kind of anti-Cambridge, like the values that a lot of Cambridge people get really worked up over.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the woke stuff. I'm like, can we just like agree to disagree? Let your crazy flag fly, and let's just go have some fun. Maybe a little alcohol, but not alcoholism.
What kind of alcohol?
Wow,
I'm
you're
gonna say
so
whiskey.
with it.
Yeah.
Born.
What's that?
Irish
Alex
whiskey,
Barnes.
Scotch. Let's see, just some regular American whiskeys.
I'm gonna say all the above.
All of the above. Okay, but whiskey. Okay.
Something that
Good to know.
warms the spirit,
Okay.
that you just sip on at night.
Yes. You get a warm feeling in the cockles, all that.
Mm.
Yeah. Sounds nice, especially as wintertime is here and growing deeper into February when everybody wants to hibernate.
And someone who does like crazy adventures, who might like plunge, you know, go from a sauna to a cold water bath, back to the sauna.
Yeah,
Like
Vanya.
some like Finnish stuff.
Yeah,
Being out
Bonnet.
looking at the
Yeah,
stars.
Finnish, Russian, all
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So, okay.
Someone who likes all temperatures.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Well, that
there's
might
a
be
lot of
good for a second
complaining.
date. I'm sure we can find a.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're moving with it. Wow, second.
Let him know about all the temperatures, Sarah. You got this.
What about you? What's your favorite season?
Season. I like. You know, I would go with. I guess I could go with summertime, but it's because it's the easiest time to get outside, and I do a lot of different things outside. And I probably enjoy the ocean in terms of any environmental area the most. Yeah. So, yeah, I like that. And yourself.
You know, it's interesting. It's the same. I love being outdoors. If someone said to me, "Do you prefer the ocean or the mountains?" And I never had an answer for that because I love walking and hiking. But I did go to this remote area in the Philippines. My friend was in the Peace Corps years back, and I couldn't wait to get out of the mountain area. I just started, first time I've ever felt really claustrophobic, and I was just so glad to get back to sea level in the ocean. So I kind of thought, you know, actually I think my realization at that point was, you know, I think I prefer the ocean. I love both, but I definitely couldn't just live in a mountainous region without a body of water.
Okay.
And even your facial, your bodily guesses are encouraging to her, showing her that you're enjoying what she's saying, or at least you're taking, or at least a yes response to it as you shake your head up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sounds very, very nice. Yes. What did you get? What type of coffee did you get right now?
You know what?
What's,
I'm gonna say I got a what's that?
Don't spill the coffee.
No, I got Irish coffee.
You got an Irish coffee.
I
Everything's
did.
good. Well, here you go. Cilantro. I'll have her for a sip right there. Take it down.
What about you?
Oh, and I got it as well. You know, when you just
Yeah.
opened up that cup, some spilled right in. So you know,
Okay.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's very, very, very tasty as well. And and I don't know. I mean, we've been sitting at this for a little bit. I feel like a change of scenery might be necessary. So you already mentioned the Irish. How about we transfer over to the Burren for maybe just possibly another whiskey, a bit of dancing, listen to some music, and yeah, that'd be very nice. But I don't know if we've set a timer for ourselves on this date or not.
When it ends whenever you want to. But that was a beautiful option
Yeah.
to move on.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds good to me. Getting a little drunk and dancing is exactly what I need.
Yeah.
It's been a stressful couple months.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we should go and do that.
Whoa!
I did see. Oh, good.
Very nice. Dave.
Pleasure being an actor.
Wow, off
Yes.
you go. Now,
Yes.
the big chance for John, if you don't mind sitting in Alex's seat.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Alex will be coaching.
The inner
Coaching
voice
Sarah.
of Sarah.
So Sarah, you're off set now.
All
You're
right,
gonna come back
yeah.
on again.
Okay.
It's a great challenge that I must overcome.
Well, I am truly craving coffee and getting silly and dancing.
Yeah,
right now.
that
I mean,
sounds nice.
Irish coffee.
Yeah.
There you're on, Sarah.
Oh, let me help you. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You okay?
yeah. I'm
Good.
good, good.
That's good.
Very responsive.
Thank you.
Good job being open to
So how are you? Have you been here before?
I come here all the time.
Really? I've never been here before.
Yeah, it's just nice to just kind of get out of my home space. I work from home, so
Oh, cool.
I just need just a new environment.
Nice.
Some people watching.
Don't
COVID
wanna
was pretty
Don't want to
isolating.
be sitting at home too much.
No,
Get depressed or something like that. What do you do for work?
you know, I work doing basically data entry right now, financial stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you actually want to talk about your work right now?
No.
Don't be afraid. Go and change the subject and dive into something
Alright,
you
right.
want to actually
Whoa.
go
Yes,
into.
all right.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not into shop talk right now. It's just been a stressful day.
Okay.
I'm just kind of more about drinking some Irish coffee and getting kind of drunk, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I came out of alcohol problems.
Oh, okay.
So I can totally understand where you're coming from.
Oh!
You know what? And I do get that.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone back and forth. I've been to AA meetings
Oh, good for
with
you.
some neighbors, and
Yeah.
I just decided it wasn't for me. I
No?
really do want to do you know what the irony is? I really do want to do the 12-step program,
Okay.
just to go through the steps and do it through
You could just
a,
stop.
a therapist and occasionally alcohol. I don't believe is my problem. I think it's just OCD and some other
It's
stuff.
a good song by Suicide Silence. Have you ever heard them?
No.
It's like, all these voices trying to talk to me. Oh my gosh. Love that song.
Speak louder, speak louder.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. He's becoming a little insecure. So try to connect about your OCD and what issues
Yeah.
he might have, and
So
leave
yeah,
him
there we
alone.
go. I mean,
Yeah.
Feel free to
alcoholism,
give-
OCD, it's all the
To
same.
give parts,
It's all under
some
the
parts
same
of your
umbrella,
life into the
you know?
conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but connect with what issues he might have.
Yeah.
Now. Okay.
So
Yeah.
we all have something.
So
We all
you
have
have-
something.
OCD?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I've been diagnosed as well. I have schizophrenia, paranoia, but for some reason they took it off the list. I'm pretty paranoid. I don't know why they took it off the list. Maybe they'll make themselves look better. And I don't know, anxiety based on schizophrenia.
Totally.
Very honest, which is beautiful.
If you
Did
want
you
to
check
continue-
her
if you wanna
body to
continue
see if it
with
was
that,
too
you
much for
can.
her to handle?
You could also
all that
switch to
stuff?
another topic,
Feel
so
free to
just
do
future
that
goals,
next
if
time.
that you're not
Right, yeah,
feeling
yeah.
as much better.
You know what?
Hold on, we're gonna redo that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're rewinding.
Says that we're rewinding, say the same thing, but watch her body's response and see each one that you brought up. If
Okay.
it might be a good idea to stop.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm diagnosed too with a mental illness. I have schizophrenia. I have paranoia.
And you're noticing her yesing of the,
Yeah, she
so
seems
she's
very
fine, yes,
warm,
well,
yeah. And anxiety.
No, I totally get that. There's a lot of new. I will say there's a lot of new research and hope in that field. There is a book that's just being published on metabolic psychiatry.
Oh yeah,
And
tell me
it's
about that.
in what this guy is getting people in on this keto diet, getting people into ketosis, and a number of people have been able to turn around their mental health when in fact it was an allergic response, an autoimmune response to something.
To what they were eating?
Yep, eating or something in their environment, but he
Oh.
believes getting people into ketosis, and there's a couple there. He's out of Harvard, there's a woman out of Stanford. There's definitely a lot of people I know, and everyone knows, who have been affected or know someone who's really struggling right now, and it's very, very, thank you for being so honest. It's really
Oh yeah, thank you
a
for
struggle.
being honest too. I was just thinking, I've been thinking about my own struggles, and I'm just thinking it's so funny. You know, I can spend, you know, maybe an hour or two talking with a friend, forget about my medications,
yeah.
and then, you know, next day, everything's gone completely fine, but somebody makes a loud noise next door, and I just like, need that medication.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, having people you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
and being in a comfortable situation, it can almost get to the point where you don't need the medication, you know?
Yeah.
Very honest, and it's a flowing conversation. You've said many brave, difficult things, and the conversation is still flowing, and you're still with each other.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so important to show up in your best self, because you never know what someone else is going through. That's true.
True.
That is true. Well, that's tough, but what do you do for fun to kind of let
Fun.
loose and?
Well, I just went to the studio to record my Demo 1 revision. Last year I went to Chill House Recording Studio to record my music, and then I just went there on the 10th to re-record it and make it sound better. And I'm getting some response. I put it up on SoundCloud, I put it up on Metal Forum.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So it's metal music.
Metal music, yeah.
Wow.
And have you noticed how fascinated she was when you were talking?
Incredibly fascinating.
Yeah?
You know, music is very healing, I will say,
Mhm.
and I'm really glad you have that outlet.
Thank you.
And continue to be amenable to him,
Yeah.
but if he continues on about himself
Yeah.
for a few more sentences, try to widen the area of conversation, okay? So that's both of you back and forth,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Where did you learn music?
Where did I learn? I took the first time I got a guitar. No, I learned violin in elementary school. I was with the orchestra. Went from third to second to first, and then I switched to guitar. I took 4 lessons. Didn't want the lessons. Started teaching myself, and then joined some bands and learned that way.
Oh, and good stop. Good stop. You gave her an answer, but you didn't talk too long.
I do.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play music?
You know,
And great, and you give it back, give the stage back to her by asking that question.
You know, I've dabbled in a bunch of different instruments, which is
Oh,
fun. I think, you know, I remember just as a kid, like you got the flutophone, then the flute, then I did a little trumpet,
Oh, cool.
I did oboe,
The wind
and-
instruments.
yeah, oboe, and then, what else did I do? I guess saxophone.
Oh, cool.
But I think where I live, it's hard. I would love to just rent a studio space, because I just, you know, again, it's hard. I think,
Yeah. I'm renting a space with someone I met on SoundCloud
yeah.
for this Saturday, because I was thinking I could just invite them over to my place, but you know, all the people next door, I don't even know them, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Good, you're right with her. You're empathizing with her and showing her that you were like her too.
And that's interesting, because noise pollution, I will say COVID was so quiet, and then I just found noise to be I found myself to be extra sensitive to noise. Just right when things started opening back up,
Really?
people playing music on their motorcycles, this, that, I'm like, I just thought, you know, so that's very considerate.
And what's just to give him options,
Yeah.
what's a productive fork in the road in terms
Yeah.
of for that maybe you have been taking on yourself, either in terms of to manage that, or, you know, what are places with increased noise pollution or decreased
Okay.
ones? How have you been trying to problem solve that, if you indeed
Okay.
have? Yeah.
So, my noise pollution issue, I end up, glaring when motorcycles go by. I know,
I
to
get the
to
same
manage it,
thing
it's
sometimes.
just hard,
I
like,
get the same thing sometimes.
I
you know.
up and move. I was sitting on the beach. I
Uh-huh.
was South Boston Beach. It was myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know, spread out. COVID was going on, and this guy on his motorcycle needing so much attention.
Mhm.
I don't know if he was from Cambridge or what.
I want to
But-
think about what those people are thinking at the time they do that. You know, how do they feel? What's their intention?
Yeah,
Great, you interrupted just very briefly and let her keep the stage, keep her flow going. Lovely. You were with her and yet you didn't take too much time, just let her know that.
well, I just up and moved. I glared, and then up and moved and walked down the beach
Wow.
as he just kind of hung out on his toy.
Mm.
But yeah, it would be nice if noise pollution was something that was addressed in terms of consideration.
Yeah.
There's just not a
Yeah.
lot of common sense these days.
Yeah, I live at a crossroads, so you know, I'm just there, you know, reading my book or whatever, and reading a sentence. Oh, very interesting. Vroom, you know, just
Yeah.
all of a sudden someone just like, yeah, and it seems to me all the time. I'm walking on the street and you just hear, just people just noise polluting the inside of your
Yeah.
home.
So delving into your own or his future plans, or what you
Oh,
would
yeah.
like to do, either if it's short term or something more long term, just to
Right,
move
right.
that energy along.
Let's wrap this up.
Oh no,
No. How do you wrap this
No,
up?
no, I'm not saying that. You just like.
So hey, is your band playing?
I have no band, but I'm talking to two people who want to trade music.
Mhm.
I'm working on my solo project, just seeing how many views I can get on SoundCloud and all that. But I'm talking with this guy, I met him on SoundCloud. We're going to be jamming this Saturday
Mhm.
at Studio 52, where I take drum lessons. I got a $10 discount.
Mhm.
And I'm talking with another guy on email. We're going to trade riffs electronically.
All right, great. Well, maybe I'll see you again.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I get a band and everything, and you can come to our concert.
Okay.
Get some contact info if you,
Oh yeah, but of course, if you'd like to see me play music in the studio, you can get my number and come and see me anytime.
Okay. Would you or wouldn't you like to see him again in this moment?
You know what? Okay, so I can't tell if he's interested or not. I'm gonna say no.
she gave
And-
you.
Because I think I brought up that I drank. I think that was like a no.
Okay.
But she gave
So
you.
you don't know yet whether he's
I'm
interested.
gonna say
No, but that
he's-
doesn't matter so much. It matters whether you're interested in him, just from your perspective.
Okay, so he's not giving me the vibe that he's interested in me.
Yeah.
So I'm all set.
Okay.
Like yeah,
But-
come see me at my studio.
So you would like him to be interested. You would like
Yeah.
someone to be interested in you first, too.
Yeah,
and
just
then-
the vibe. Like I don't want Yeah, it's sort of like someone needs to put it out there. I know I'm talking my inner voice
No,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, totally.
So inner voice, I just want to feel secure
Yeah.
that the person isn't just being polite, that he's not being, and
Okay.
he wants to actually like do some things, and he's not addicted
Yeah.
to his work either.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he knows,
But yeah, but
Yeah.
I won't. The
Reference
last.
to the previous date.
Yeah, but the last thing I'll say is
Yeah.
that a common thing where you're waiting for the other person to show interest first, rather than the other way around? It's not a critique. It's just it's just
No,
a
it's a
pattern
pattern.
recognition. It's not a critique at all. It's just what normally happens or whatever.
Yeah, it's a pattern because I'm like, am I annoying? Like all of us are we're annoying in different ways,
Right,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, does the person find me annoying or not? Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, but does the person really want to hang? And then, but that's interesting inner voice that you said that
Yeah.
because people that have said, hey, let's hang out, a large number of them have partners
Yeah.
and they're being dishonest. So in fact, the
Or they're
person,
not monogamous.
yeah, but their partner doesn't know. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
partner
yeah,
doesn't know
yeah.
about it. So I think that the person that tends to be braver is very often in the Cambridge area, the D-bag who's not honest,
Oh,
who's
okay.
who's just said, oh, my business has done great. I'm like living life now. I worked really hard. I went to MIT or Harvard, and
You
I'm
can
just
hear the
gonna
same stories.
Okay.
just do, yeah, it's the
Same way it's
same
making
boring
it.
story.
So,
over and
so
over
given
again.
that that's where your
So,
energy's
like,
at now,
whatever.
how do you want to finish up this situation?
You know what, I'm gonna just
Uh,
hand him my number, and if he calls me,
But he's
calls
not.
me.
But oh, good. But you don't think he's interested. But
No.
you're giving him the number anyway.
Yeah,
When
because
you're not necessarily interested, are you interested yourself, or you're leaving it open to possibility?
I'm leaving it open
Okay.
to possibilities,
Okay.
and I love music,
Okay.
and so it's just common interests, and maybe we'll all just meet a bunch of people that are of common interest.
Oh.
It's too early to tell.
Now, were you aware
Does all that mean you're not interested?
when she said, "I'd like to hear your music," right? I think she said that, right?
Yeah,
I did.
That could be an invitation to see you and to say, "Oh, good." If you could have immediately said if you
Yeah.
wanted to, "Oh, good. Give me your number. I'll give you mine, and when I'm doing the music, I'll let you know." So let's rerun that one.
Okay.
We're gonna have a
Okay.
rerun when Sarah's gonna say, "I'd like," Sarah?
Oh, I'd like to hear your music.
Oh, really? Awesome. Well, to give you my SoundCloud page, I mean, that's where I put out my songs and everything like that, and maybe we could change emails too.
Yeah, that sounds
Contact.
great. Okay.
Now, that may be, but, so she put herself out there.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
thank you.
Here's my email, and, please give me yours, and I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah.
So let's do it one more time, this is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
This is closing the deal as a used car salesman.
We're teaching the Cambridge kids out there how to do this.
Okay, Sarah,
Just keep
one more
rolling.
time.
Oh, hey, so it would be nice to hear your music.
Thank you so much. Well, I mean, I could totally give you my email and show you send you a link to my SoundCloud page, and you can check it out from there.
Almost. Now I could. Oh, let me give you my email. One more time. Sarah?
It'd be interesting to check out your music.
Well, I could give you my email.
No, I have. Here's my email.
Yeah.
Could I have yours and I'll let you know.
Do what
when
you
I'm-
want to do at this point to either get it or not get it, and get in and get out.
Right, right. It is interesting though, these inner voices are very helpful because with you, it was like, here's the deal, I was like, hey, let's go hang out, like, there was no, I'm not sure, there wasn't fear, and it was sort of like, okay, hey, why not, who cares, this guy's fearless, this is cool, whereas this exchange is like, okay, I'm protecting myself, and I'm like, wow, you know, it really is like, I think it's our inner voice telling us, you know, and then also just, the fear does show up.
Let's try it
It really
one more
does.
time if you can bear it.
And before we try one more time, I would say also
Yeah.
it may also have to do with previous rapport as well.
Pretty sure.
Like we've
Right.
met and hung out about
Right,
it's
right.
you know.
I mean, this
It was a
just
nice.
joking.
I know
we
it was a
just
nice
kinda-
simulated first
Yeah.
date, and if you want it to go smooth on
Yeah,
both
yeah.
sides, then
Right. I mean, someone asking me to like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go dancing whiskey, as long as the bar is right there.
well, yeah.
But I'm not gonna go travel like cross town.
Well, yeah. In that case,
You
it would be
know.
in Davis
So,
Square.
and so one more time if that's okay.
Yeah.
If you can, when she, especially from a woman, we're different from a man, if you'll forgive me, when she says, "I'd like to hear your music," without any maybes or coulds, you can say, "Oh, good, let me give you my email, and if you give me yours, I'll be happy to let you know when I'm playing." Just that's simple. One more time.
It'd be nice to hear your music.
Oh, well, let me give you my email, and maybe I can get yours, and I'll let you know whenever I'm playing.
That sounds great.
If I had a band.
Wow.
That's good.
Okay, well that was our planned show. We can either say goodbye, or if there's anything else, maybe let's hear what it was like maybe the three people can say, what was your inner feelings while you were creating this, while you were meeting and creating a date, really? What did you feel when it was going on?
I had a lot of fun. It's like acting, it's like dating, you know, it's a lot of fun.
I think you know, I had an aha moment, right? An aha. I tend to cave to the more like powerful, confident one than the one that's a little bit more timid. And in my head, I'm like, oh, the timid one, maybe he has a girlfriend, maybe there's a reason. But it's the confident one that's like, yeah, I got like 2 girlfriends on the side. You know what I mean? And my inner voice is asking me about my patterns, and I'm like, you're right. Like, I'm sort of like, all right, well, the confident guy sounds like a lot of fun, but really, it's gonna get boring again. It's gonna be another MIT, Harvard, Cambridge person.
Wow!
That's
On
like,
Cambridge Cable was saying that.
you know, they show up with a lot of noise on their motorcycle. Bye. It gets very noise pollution. Goodbye.
And
That's all it
Alex,
is,
what
it's
was
just
it like
noise.
to both be the coach and to be in the scene?
Well, I think in this setting also, I don't know, maybe I'm a little mindful of the camera being here as well. I would say I was just trying to keep things flowing, basically, and flow between us. And it was nice to simulate a first date, but it's obviously, the less you know a person a lot of times, the more challenging it's going to be. And I already know Sarah a little bit already, so there's that comfort level and sense of rapport. But also, it's kind of like, I don't know, for me it's just like, we're just talking, and then listening to the inner voice and going back in was a little challenging, because I can be domineering my own, oh yeah, I know what I want to say, okay, alright, although useful at times to take a pause back as well, so yeah, I think it was relatively comfortable, maybe a little awkward just because we're friends, through each other and all that. So yeah, so it was kind of measuring out. But yeah, I just wanted it to go fluidly. And then when it looked like, okay, this is enough of this conversation, or I needed to, definitely I feel commonly, and this is on dates in general, that I like to change orientation, to put myself and people in a different setting. Staying all in one setting at like a coffee shop or just like that, even past like 15 minutes or half hour, tends to become uncomfortable to me.
And why would changing scenes help?
It brings in a different energy. Also, like, I sometimes do better when there's motion anyway.
Wow.
Some people do better just sitting down. If I'm already really comfortable, or there happens to be something really engaging, great. But if it's like, okay, well, we've seen, a little bit, all right, then like, let's get moving, let's get walking, and that's gonna change
would walking do it?
Yeah, walking might do it, just because you're changing the orientation to the other
I
person.
love walking.
Yeah,
So many things
walking,
are
and then if we had gone to the Burin or whatever later or whatever, that's a third orientation. So you get 3 orientations with meeting someone for the first time, and you get to see them in a different light. That's already 3 different potential lights that you're seeing them in, to see if you want to interact or if there's anything more to them. And it also allows both people to hopefully bring something out about themselves in those different areas.
Wow.
Whereas some people might be good really sitting at a cafe, and some people might be bored as all hell. They might be better playing a soccer game or playing ultimate frisbee against each other or something like
Bring
that.
my bottle game.
But yeah, there might
Hi!
some people might be good conversation,
Would you
some
like-
person might be good in terms of physicality or being artistic or something else.
Wait,
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot. And I didn't even sit in the chair. I really appreciated the flow that was going between you and John. And because you two don't know each other very well at all. And there was a flow there.
Mm-hmm.
That was very nice. And the bravery of saying, I am interested in you. That's really, it's both brave and not pushy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a way, this was probably slightly more realistic to the situation. Not always, it depends on the people, but in terms of that they knew each other less.
Yes.
Right.
So
I
there-
didn't know you played music. I
Yeah.
love music. That's really interesting. This book looks really fascinating. I could have just talked about that book.
Yeah, yeah,
But so it was great to have a prop
yeah.
that we could talk about. But yeah, even I had no idea you hated Cambridge dating, but I think everyone does.
Oh yeah, it's Boston,
Wow.
Boston area, Massachusetts dating in general. Yeah.
So
no,
what is
totally.
it-
And then
what-
we could get together.
What
on
is the
it.
difference in other places?
I've lived a lot of different places, been a lot of different places, and like you also one easy thing that I've noticed from being different places is there's gonna be certain places that you just naturally fit in better, and it might not be the place that you grew up or have lived for a
Right,
long
yeah.
period of time. And an example of this that I can easily see is like I lived in Utah for like, I don't know, it felt like a year and a half, but on and off over that time period. And like it was like leading up to New Year's, and I was like, I hadn't been with anyone, gotten a date, something in like 6 months, at least in the Utah area. And I finally went to Flagstaff, and it worked out because one, I work in the outdoors. I look like I work in the outdoors. They have a pine cone that drops on New Year's, just in terms of symbolizing that. And you have a lot of other transient people coming through. So, like it or not, like I look like I fit in there better. And I'm not Mormon, and I was living in Utah. And if you're not Mormon or look a certain way living in Utah, you're on the outs. You're not socially connected to a lot of people. So, so that's a prime example. If you look preppy or nerdy around here, but look like you have like a pretty professional job, whether you're a chemist, whether you're a type of scientist, all that, I'm like, yeah, this is the place for you. Or your preppy polo shirt and you row crew, like this is great. Or you're a student. But if you're not any of those things, the chances that your likelihood may go down dramatically.
Oh, I understand.
And I am none of those things.
And I am.
And there you go. Yeah. If you like to be more academic,
Yes.
and a lot of the time it's how long you've been in place, have you found your circle of people and this. But there are going to be places that you fit in, and there's going to be places right away, and there's going to be places that you absolutely don't fit in right away. And it's going to be a lot more work or a lot more of a challenge.
I have found. I mean, I'm 81. Gonna be 82 in March 1st.
Yeah.
I have found that the people I became partners with, and there's been many, over 20, they've all been way different than I imagined. And all of them have given me gifts I wasn't expecting. And all were in packages I wouldn't, almost all of them. The way they appeared, how can I put this? If I waited to get to know somebody, I got so scared. I remember telling one woman I waited even 2 weeks to get to know, and then I held her hand and said, I can even say her name, Carmi, I don't feel anything now, because I got too scared getting to know them. We might as well make love since we have nothing to lose, since I have no feeling whatsoever. And she said yes. And it was one of the most passionate lovemaking I have ever had in my life for 2 years. My point is, people can share your experiences if you want to, is I never knew what I was getting into because I couldn't take time to get to know someone because I got too scared. If I jumped in physically, hugging, kissing, and the rest, they turned out to be greater gifts than I dreamed. I had one woman, I was hugging her and I felt transparent. That I could walk through walls, I thought. Something happened, because we're mostly space. I had another woman who I married, And we deserved each other, or we would have no hold barred discussions, I'm not making this up, for 8 hours, telling each other what we really felt about each other. And then we'd make love.
What was that?
And we did that for 6 years, no, really 8 years. And it was freeing. And when I stopped criticizing her, because I said, I don't want to play this game anymore, that was the end of us.
Mhm.
So that's my confession.
Have you felt like you've always fit in here, in this area?
I came from Israel. I was in Jerusalem for 3 years. So she asked great questions. I'm glad you're going to
I know.
You're really lucked out, man.
Yeah.
I came from Israel thinking I could have gone anywhere in the world. I'm like Alex, really. Except I had no base. You have a base here. But I had no base. And I thought, this is the intellectual capital of the world. Harvard, MIT. I soon discovered, because I'm from the University of Chicago for 9 years. The University of Chicago, if we had a date,
You and Bernie both, or?
if I had a date with someone, we would begin by, what have you been thinking today? That's how it would begin. We had a way of rating women. You won't believe this, it's a fancy word, but they weren't beautiful or sexy. If you were ontologically dense, look at this, Richard.
Define that.
Ontology is the study of being.
Oh,
If your being was intense, you really were a thinker, you had great psychological problems. You weren't allowed at University of Chicago unless you were mentally ailing deeply. Because then you need to think, what can I do to get out of this? So when I came to this area, I discovered people weren't like the University of Chicago. People are comfortable at Harvard. In their own way at MIT, they're comfortable because they're. So I couldn't ask people what you're thinking. They would say, "What do you mean?" Let me tell you, I'm working on AI, intelligence. Or
yeah. A bunch of workaholics.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I always thought, well, one more last thing. I thought people here taught me manners. I was wild. I was a wild child. Israel, Chicago, Brooklyn. And they tamed me way too much. So I became a nice man. Oh, I'm sorry. So in some ways that was great for me because I needed taming. And in some ways, at this age of 81, I'm beginning to break out of being a nice man and be more honest like you and you and you. That was a long answer. See, and I didn't do what you said, what you did. I didn't pay attention to see if I'm losing Sarah's interest with this long answer. I would have failed at our first date.
I think the show succeeded because of your speech there. There's a lot of very interesting.
No, but I didn't watch her body reaction to my long answer. So I think I would give myself, if I was Alex and rating me, an F minus. You see, notice how the conversation stopped because I talked too long. We were having a great
We've all
time.
got some thinking to do.
I know that the fitting in is something I've thought about quite a bit, in terms of like, where do I fit in best? And when I lived in Chicago, I was not in the University of Chicago, but I had a great time I felt like, again, it wasn't the intellectual capital of the world. It was kind of the party, let's have fun capital of the world. But, you know, even that catches up where you kind of think, oh, everyone I know has like a drinking or drug problem. People don't take things seriously. People really aren't deeply kind. It's kind of surface. And same thing with my friend moved out to LA. I'm like, oh, the sunshine, being outdoors, the trails, but yeah,
The
no.
capital of phoniness.
So, yeah, and very quickly you're like, no, this makes me happy for like 10 minutes, but, so I've really struggled with where do I fit in? And I kind of feel like, you know, we all have our stuff. I think there's just, you know, a few people that, you know, you find your people who think like you, and that's a total gift, and for me, it's never gonna be 20 people, you know?
I
But-
don't understand, oh,
20
you wanna find
Well,
one
no, 'cause-
person?
No, yeah, like he was saying, he's had 20 different partners,
Oh.
but yeah, I just find I just don't fit in and think the same way as a lot of other people. But I think a lot of people that I've talked to, they meet people who grew up within a certain radius, and that makes sense because I think if you think like similar to someone else, it does make things a lot easier.
But you grew up around here.
Yeah, in the suburbs. And it just kind of was Mean Girls. It was like a Mean Girl vibe. And yeah, it was just school was a lot of pressure. You know, people all had tutors to get their SAT scores up.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just very. I think other part like
And-
Southern California would be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. And the fitting in or the belonging, I think it's more just initially because you don't know anybody about someone else if you're seeing them for the first time. A lot of it's a visual thing and a sense of comfort thing. It's
Yeah.
like, and that's not necessarily right, but it's like if I see someone in Miami or I see someone in Flagstaff, Arizona, or something, it's like anybody like, oh yeah, they belong here. That makes sense. They fit in. And so, sometimes in those situations, if they fit in and they're appealing, they're going to have the most options immediately available to them, because they're going to be approached, or they're going to feel comfortable in that setting approaching other people, just on a very surface level. On a deeper level, I think can be completely different.
Yeah.
But in terms of just that initial interaction, yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think that it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
The initial interaction is, you know, you feel like, oh, I don't fit in, but you do, once you get those layers, you have to get into the layers.
Yeah, there's going to be a select number of people, but a very minority of the population that'll be pretty adaptable and capable, you know, in terms of romantically fitting in almost anywhere they go. But for most of us, I don't think that's the case at all.
I find if I'm part of a group,
Yeah,
like I go to Interplay, we did that, we warm up from here.
yeah,
If I'm with someone in a group for a year or two,
yeah.
that is really
Well, you
simpatico.
have that sense of belonging also.
That's
yeah,
right, and
there
also
was
with someone
both,
who's
yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
anything I can.
Yeah.
Could be rowing.
Yeah. But I would argue at this point you're probably I mean, like, how long have you lived in Cambridge? Like, you're probably very comfortable, consciously and unconsciously, you know, I would hope at least consciously, of where you're living, where you're from. I belong here, you know, there's a certain confidence that comes
Yes,
with that on a day-to-day
if
basis.
I was not in Cambridge, people would think I'm crazy. I think.
Yeah.
But here, I can belong,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
including these discussions, probably wouldn't have them in. But we have 3 more minutes to give the audience what we've learned from this.
I've learned that, you know, I'm dealing with my own issues, but being around people who help me feel comfortable, and definitely people who have a lot of interesting stuff to say, just kind of helps me coast through all that stuff, and I had a great time just being with all you guys on TV.
And coast, what by coast you mean?
Feel stable and basically, yeah.
And what?
Basically, yeah.
Basically, yeah?
Feeling stable and being able to enjoy the situation without having negative thoughts interrupt.
Wow, and this is on TV. We'll see if we wanna put it on other people, what is it, final wisdom for our audience?
I don't know, random advice. If you're, it seems like, if you're in a first date setting, keep it flowing, but also, even if it's something you disagree with, bring it up, but that doesn't have to be the end all and be all. Be like, oh, I'm feeling like this in the moment, and that hopefully that vulnerability will suit you well. Whether the date lasts or gets cut short right there, as long as you're not, being overly mean or anything like that, and be like, oh yeah, I hear what you're saying, and no, actually that annoys me a bit or something like this, but here's why.
Wow, I would love it. It's so hard.
As long as you address it, but you don't have to go over the top with it, because rather than trying to be deceptive or anything else.
Wow.
Just address it and
I
then
would
continue.
love
You said something and just play ping pong. Now it's the other person's time to say.
Wow.
And if you're getting completely bored of that, you can say it or not. You can either cut it right there,
Yeah.
or just like, oh no, or you can also say it other ways. I'm not really feeling this, or if you're starting to dislike the person, just go, yeah, I'm bored. I think we should meet other people.
What about the
and then just
opposite?
leave.
What about the opposite though?
What?
What about if you really like them?
That's just say that. What's the problem? So far I really like.
That's
you can
great.
either be super direct or you
So-
can be like, I really like what I'm hearing from you. If it seems a little on the nose.
I love it.
Yeah.
So far, I really like you. I love it. Sarah,
Well,
last.
address the moment.
Oh, we have Sarah.
Yeah, address the moment. Don't think that it means something more in continuity.
Wow, Sarah,
Don't-
last
don't,
15
uh,
seconds.
I think address the moment is a really good call, and don't be overly cocky.
Mhm.
Just be you, and and it'll reciprocate.
Whoa! Thank you for joining us. Good dating.